Now, keeping with the United Nations, it's the 20th anniversary of the controversial World Conference Against Racism in Durban, South Africa, aka the Durban IV Conference. But after having repeatedly veered into open displays of anti-Semitism at the first three iterations, some 30-plus countries, including the United States, UK, Germany, France, and Canada, are now boycotting the event outright. With me to discuss, again, is former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Danny Ayalon. Danny, thanks for returning to us. Now, Israeli ambassador to the UN, Gilad Erdan, he thanked these 30-some nations for understanding that the Durban Conference is, quote, fundamentally rotten. And the first three conferences could easily be characterized this way. But why then do you think that we still have this conference? And would you agree with this description to begin with?
First of all, absolutely. And I would say it's really to the detriment of the South Africans and to the Durban inhabitants. Nice, charming South African city that has become now infamous or became a beacon of hatred and really the lowest kind of racism and anti-Semitism that is going to be associated with its name. We have to remember the first Durban conference 20 years ago exactly today was supposed to really fight all kinds of racism and xenophobia and Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. But again, like many other cases, it was hijacked by the Palestinians, their collaborators. They erased anti-Semitism, and actually they have turned the entire conference, which was going to be a feel-good conference, to go for something which is justice for all, human rights, liberty. They turn it into the most severe anti-Semitic tool against Israel and against Jews all over. And to commemorate it.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but why then hold it at all? Because even in the original 2001 Durban Conference, the original Secretary General refused to adopt the approved resolution as is over quote-unquote horrible anti-Semitism that was present. So again, why continue to hold it at all? Why have three more iterations after the first failure?
Simply because the pressure that still the Palestinians, it's like the tail wagging the dog. The Palestinians are putting the pressure on the Arab countries, the Arab groups, about 22 of them at the United Nations. And they put the pressure on the Islamic group, which is, you add together, it's 57 countries. And they put the pressure on what used to be the non-aligned countries. Most of them are not very affluent and not very democratic. And they are the ones who are being promised, whether it's through money or kinds, to go their way to this conflict and to condemn Israel. They do it just because of Palestinian and Arab and Muslim pressure. They don't do it because they want to do it. Many of these countries that participate in this conference have very good relations with Israel, and they get a lot of aid, technical aid, technological aid from Israel. If you look at those countries that did not participate, that boycotted, the 33 countries, they are the decent countries, but they're also independently behaving, conducting themselves countries that are not as the poorer countries dependent upon the Muslim or Arab markets or Arab world. So basically, it's something which has, unfortunately, it has no significance in the diplomatic arena. It does not harm Israel's foreign policies and foreign relations with countries in the world. And today, actually, we enjoy the best situation where we have more embassies abroad than ever before, more than 100 or 106. However, it does become very detrimental when it comes to BDS and all the actions against Israel, whether it's in campuses in the United States or whether it is in Europe within all kinds of labor movements and unions, worker unions. This is the problem. BDS and anti-Semitism against Israel and trying to separate anti-Semitism from anti-Zionism, which of course is one and the same, started in Durban 20 years ago, and we have reaped these sour grapes throughout the last 20 years.
All right. Ambassador Danny Ayalon, it's been a pleasure to speak with you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.